and push some stuff at you, because I went to one of your town hall meetings the other night, and I'm gonna tell you, folks, we need somebody, and I hate to say it like this, but you know it. We need somebody who's gonna fight for us down there. And I'm gonna say I saw this brother, but I don't mean brother because he's black. I mean brother because he's in the struggle. He's in the battle, and he was battling because he had like his opponent. Then he had Monte Leone, who's the person giving up the seat, and then the mayor endorse his opponent, but again, you know, that's a Democrat endorsing the Democrat, not because he's the better candidate, but because of the politics of the matter. And this guy stood up in that town hall meeting, and again, he didn't care who was there. He was battling for the right reasons, and that's what I'm going to tell you. And he could tell you more about the town hall meeting and the questions that he was getting, and he was getting set up. And he was still handling it. So go ahead and tell him about that, and then we'll take this next caller.
Well, you know, you'd really like to have these campaigns conducted just on the issues, but my opponent, he really doesn't have any new ideas. He doesn't have any new visions. Basically, his whole candidacy is to establish and maintain the status quo. And when the mayor came out and endorsed him, after some ruse that New Tampa was going to succeed from the rest of the city of Tampa, that was all plotted, that was all planned, and that was geared to get me to make me look divisive. But it hasn't been the talk of secession. Any leader, any physician knows that when someone is screaming and they want to change, there's a problem. And any good politician would go out and find out, why do you want to succeed? What is it that we're doing that you don't want to stay with us? Because we're not getting our fair share in taxes. We're not getting our fair share in transportation improvements. We're not getting our fair share in neighborhood recreation centers for our kids. Our streets are not being taken care of properly. Does that sound familiar to the black community? Of course it does.
Yeah. I say yes. Yes, it sounds familiar to me.
and the bottom line is that they tried to make me out to be the divisive candidate, but by going there and when you don't have an issue to run on, when your only issue is I want to maintain the status quo, you have to kind of slide these things in there. And the real divisiveness is some of the policies that have existed for years here and have disrupted the neighborhoods in the city of Tampa, gentrified the neighborhoods in the city of Tampa, and have caused destabilization of families and jobs and entire communities, particularly the black community. And that's what I was standing up for. I have been a uniter in my community of New Tampa for 20 years, and I was the one that had all of the community neighborhoods sign on to make me their representative. Bob Buckhorn, when he was a councilman, voted for me to be their representative on a transportation committee. That doesn't really sound divisive. If divisive means not standing up for your neighborhood, or standing up for your neighborhood, if being divisive means saying no when something unjust is being done to the people in the community and your neighbors, then let me be divisive. But I will not stand by. I can't stand by and allow the policies and some of the things that have gone down in the city of Tampa to pass without being questioned. And that's all I'm asking. I want to be your fighter downtown for your neighborhoods.
And I heard, and again, I actually get out and go to town hall meetings and different meeting among people making decisions for everybody, not just the people who happen to show up at the event. They're making decisions for everybody. And I saw half of those people in the room were trained people. They say transportation, but I specifically asked them, do you mean train or do you mean transportation? They always say transportation, but they always mean train. I'm waiting for one to not mean train. I'm talking about real transportation. Okay, we got a ferry that's happening. We got some road improvements. But by the time they get to the backside of the statement, there's a train there. There's some railroad tracks there. Somehow, somewhere, it always end up at a train. And we all know that is a code word because all the railroad tracks come through our communities.
That's right.
But somehow, some way, there's no hubs in our community. You know, if they're gonna go from USF to downtown, most of it through our community, they ain't gonna be doing a lot of stops. See, I'm talking about around most hubs, and I'm an architect, so I understand urban design. They build the infrastructure. They build these big old malls, holding area, places for people to do business, and then the train comes through. That's how they normally do it. So if they was planning on stopping in our communities with some of these train things, you know, it would be different because it would mean urban development within our community. But they gonna pass through. I'm telling you right now. They may pick up people at USF. They're gonna let them out downtown. They may pick them up downtown. They're gonna let them out either at the airport or they're gonna take them all the way down to McDill. You see what I'm saying? It's not gonna be a whole bunch of stopping in between because what's in between? Us, we. So again, Jim understands, and that's one of the reasons I'm supporting Jim. That's one of the reasons he's here. That's one of the reasons he has done the one thing that tells me more than anybody else. Because not that I'm starving, but our community is. And if you can say I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, but you don't show up at TMP, and you don't show up at the Florida Sentinel with your dollars, I'm just telling you, it's more rhetoric, it's more talk. And this man has put his money where everybody else's mouth has been. So again, Jim, go ahead and give us some closing remarks, whatever you want people to be left with, because the election is on Tuesday. And if you got a website, you got a phone number, you need some volunteers, some people to hold some signs, whatever you need, go ahead and give it to them right now.
Well, I think that this election comes down to a very simple thing. There is a man who represents a continuation of all those policies that many communities in the city of Tampa have come to find out are not in their best interest. He is the status quo. That is Mr. Vieira. There is no greater example than I can give the people listening that of the 6 candidates who were in the race, the 4 that did not make it, 2 of those 4 candidates, Avis Harrison and Cyril Spiro, endorsed me. There were 3 members of one party in this race. Those 2 candidates, one of those candidates went on and is my opponent. The 2 people that were in that candidate that were in the same party would not endorse that candidate. You have 2 newspapers in this town that really find the pulse of their communities. The Florida Sentinel in the black community and La Gaceta in the Hispanic community. As again I was saying, I will never forget the day that I got the endorsement from the Florida Sentinel. I'm also endorsed by La Gaceta, the newspapers closest to their communities. And that's where this election is going. You can vote for me in the future and someone who will fight to change the status quo, or you can vote for my opponent, the one that the mayor wants on board so that he can control the board. And again, if you would like to learn more about my cam, it's very simple. You can just go to votejimdavison.com, my website, my Facebook, my Twitter pages, and you can find out almost all the information about me you want. Again, do not stay home. Get up off the couch, vote for yourself, vote for your family, vote for your future, and vote for your community, and vote for Jim Davison this Tuesday to bring the changes that are so sorely needed in our communities.